I am super, super passionate about hostels. I love hostels. I love everything they bring. Anytime I get a chance to travel, even when I'm back in the US, if I go to like San Diego and I saw Leah, like I want to try a hostel wherever I go. So love hostels. And oh, come on. This little box is in my way. Okay, here we go. All right, so like Leah said, I'm a big fan of Schitt's Creek and Friends, so you might see a lot of little gifs of them throughout the slides, so be prepared for that, and love David. Okay, so I'm Katie Wine. Like Leah said, wine pronounced like the kind you enjoy in a glass. You can find me on my social media handles, mostly at Katie_wine. I was born and raised in Indy. Go Hoosiers. Went to college at IU as well. And I attended or got my elementary education degree, and ended up teaching for about 6 years, 3rd grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade at some point. And by the last year, I was so just, if any of you are teachers or know someone in the education area, you probably understand it was not good for my mental health. So I decided it was time to change things up, and I went on a trip pretty close to before my 30th birthday. I guess I had like a quarter life crisis. I went on a Turkey and Greece trip, on a yacht trip, and I was like, you know what? Like, I really need to do this. I really need to try and do this right now. I'm not married. I don't have kids. And, right now I have enough money saved up for what I thought would be a wedding or a house. And I'm going to use that to travel instead. So that's exactly what I did. I finished the school year out because I'd never leave my kids in the middle. I love my kids and my students. And sold as much of my teaching stuff as I could, as long as my personal belongings, and left Indiana. So I also love coffee. I'm always down to have a coffee. I know Leah's always down too, as well as wine, of course. I've been traveling now for about 3+ years, almost 4. And most people, yes, know me as the budget traveler, or like the hostel girl that always stays in hostels. And I tend to share a lot of stories about my travels, wherever I'm at, wherever I'm going. And I already told you, but I'll say it again, I love hostels. So, and I discovered a love for hostels when I started traveling. So that's what we're going to focus on today. All right, today we're going to be covering, I'm going to go down to the basics, like what is a hostel? Where did it start? What's the difference between a hotel and a hostel? Why choose hostels? Hostel myths. Where can you book? The places that I use. How to find a good hostel for you, and how to pick a great hostel. I'm going to take some time to focus on security and safety, because I know that tends to be a really big question I get a lot in my DMs, like, don't you feel unsafe, or like stuff getting stolen. What to pack to make sure your first stay at a hostel is successful, and hostel etiquette. And I'll share some real life hostels I've been to. And there, I figured it out finally as I was talking. Questions, we'll take some questions, and I'll share some contact info along with some resources that I pulled together for you guys. All right, so what is a hostel? Back to the basics. Because I know when I first went to a hostel, I didn't realize what I was going into. I was in Sydney, Australia, and I was kind of like, it was a good experience. It was fine, but I didn't realize my room I paid for was shared with everyone at the time. I didn't realize this was a hostel. So let's talk about what it is. A hostel is a form of low-cost, short-term, shared sociable lodging where guests can rent a bed, usually a bunk bed in a dormitory, with shared use of a lounge and sometimes a kitchen. So the rooms can be co-ed, it could be a mix, or it can be same sex. When it comes to same sex, I more often find female only dorms when that happens, but not always. Occasionally I'll find all male ones too. Private or shared bathrooms. So the bathroom can be like an ensuite to the room, and you share with maybe 4 people in your room, or maybe 6 people, or it can be, the bathroom can be separate, or you have to walk outside your room to the bathroom. Kind of like if you ever went to college and stayed in a dorm and you have like a communal shower room or bathroom, it's like that. Private rooms may also be available. Oftentimes they are. Family rooms available in some. I've seen this. I feel like it's starting to become a little more common. It's still not super common, but I have noticed when I start to book my hostels that family rooms are starting to become more available. One comes to mind, like I know there's Selena in Chicago. They definitely have a family room that you can book there, Selena Hostel, but that's just one. And overall, there's like roughly almost 16,000 hostels worldwide. Many of them, most of them, a big chunk in Asia, then the next chunk in Europe, then South America, and then North America. Not as common in North America. A little hostel history. So I actually looked this up right before. I thought this would be interesting. Erica said this too. So where did hostels start? Because I didn't know the answer to this question. So it originated from a German school teacher. His name was Richard. Don't, get at me for saying this last name wrong, but I'm gonna guess Sherman. And he saw a need for like overnight accommodation for school children and traveling. And so he ended up opening up the first youth hostel in 1912 in Germany. And I don't know if it's the exact same hostel, but I know there's a hostel that exists in that castle in that same place today, which is now that I found that out, I want to go to that one. All right, so hotels versus hostels. So hotels, you're always probably gonna have a private room and your own bathroom. Whereas in a hostel, that's not gonna happen unless you book a private room. Hotels are not as cost effective. You're probably going to end up paying a lot more. They don't have common spaces really designed to meet and be social. Unless it's just with people you're traveling with, it's fine. It can be found really in any city or town around the world and seen mostly as very safe, a lot safer than hostels, which we'll get to that in the myths part. I disagree. I think they're very safe, hostels. In hotels, you'll have housekeeping staff that will probably come to your room if you want it every day to freshen up your towels and things, but you will not get that in a hostel unless you stay in a private room. That could happen. And it's also, overall, it's just great if you're looking for a more private experience. But if you're a solo traveler and you want to meet people traveling, what is this? Okay. So in a hostel, I've stayed in many hostel dorms, and I've stayed in some that have like only 3 beds up to even 20 plus beds. I think I stayed in one hostel in Koh Tao, Thailand. Yeah, island. Yeah. And I can't remember the name of it, but I'm pretty sure there's 30 beds in there. But it was only $5 a night or something. So, and it had good reviews. And the lady there who ran it, oh, she was great. She cooked dinner every night for everyone. So the $5 also included dinner. But yes, very good. Very cost effective. I'm not going to say prices because depending on where you're at, it could really vary, but still overall way more affordable than a hotel. And sometimes they provide private bathrooms and shared bathroom areas. I talked about that a little bit. They are designed for socializing with common spaces like lounges and shared kitchens, bars, or cafes on site. So most hostels when they come into thinking about designing their hostel or building a hostel, they come in with like a social lens, like how can we set up a common area or lounge to make it very social for the guests, because that's what hostels are really good for. It's a It's a sociable place to stay to meet people and other travelers. So yes, great if you're looking to meet other travelers, designed to accommodate travelers on a budget. And they often offer a lot of activities, sometimes even at lower rates than some of the tours you might book through, maybe through your hotel. They often have free activities. I know, like, for example, I was in Mexico in Bacalar and called the Yak Lake House, and they did a free mojito class with everyone. But they do lots of little activities at night, like karaoke, yoga. Trying to think of another one, but yeah, lots of different free activities for the guests at a hostel. Also, if I cannot see the chat, I just see that it says 80 at the top, but if you do have a question, feel free to put it in the chat, because I know Leah's going to grab all the questions and I'll try to answer them at the end. Okay, so why hostels? So the main reason to choose hostels is that you want to be social, meet other travelers, and have accommodation at a more affordable price. I say one of the main things that makes a hostel great are the people that are there and the staff that are there. So I have a picture up here on the top hand corner of the staff at Mayan Monkey in Cancun, Mexico. I recently went there in December. Oh, they were so great. They're just, they're just very social with the guests, making sure they're having a good time, and having a great staff or bad staff can make or break a hostel, in my opinion. But staff and other travelers know a lot about the area and can provide a lot of info, advice on how to get around and where to eat and activities to do. So I always, when I get to a hostel, I always ask for some advice on where to eat, like where's the best place to eat, because they're probably going to know the best places to go for the most affordable price. So it's always great to have a good staff. Social, generally hostels are very social. It makes it easy to meet other travelers all over the world. I've met so many lovely people from all corners of the world, and it's probably one of the biggest reasons why I choose hostels. Yes, that is very true. For all the people I meet, I've met so many lovely people. That's why I included the photo in the bottom corner. Oh gosh, I'm holding a beer, aren't I? I just realized that. Sorry guys, I like beer too. So we, this time last year, oh my gosh, actually her birthday's today. The girl that's laying across, it was her birthday, and it's actually her birthday's today. So it was this time last year. I decided, me and a couple other people, this whole group of people, we kind of met in Holbox, Mexico, and Tulum, and ended up all going to Puerto Escondido together and staying in this hostel. We had a massive group. It was an amazing group of people. It's one of the main reasons why I stay at hostels, because you just meet some people from all over. I met people from UK, even Chicago, Germany, everywhere. Okay, some other reasons why you should choose hostel. Planned activities. Like I said, they do like bar crawls, yoga, family dinners, karaoke, trivia at a lot of hostels, all kinds of activities. Security. Don't listen to the movies. Many of them provide a lot of like maybe even key card access, or have like a 24-hour some kind of security. They almost always have lockers that you can lock up, as you can see in the photo on the top. That was Mayan Monkey Hostel. You just have to bring your own lock. They're also, of course, another big reason, way more affordable. Just want to make sure I'm not oh gosh, I was checking the time. Okay, hostel myths. That doesn't even sound remotely correct. None of these are just not true, okay? All right, hostels are like the movie Hostel. No, nowhere even close. I've been in 80 plus hostels maybe, and I'm still alive and nothing bad has happened to me. Hostels are dangerous. Like I said, 70 plus hostels and I'm still alive. So, and they're no more dangerous than hotels. So You know, just like there's bad hotels though, there could be bad hostels. You just have to know where to look, which I'm going to get to that. Hostels are for younger people. Also not true. I've met people as young as 18. I've met people in their 70s before. So I will say the like high hostel brand, they tend to have like older travelers who, it's a better, I guess would say hostel chain for older travelers or families or student groups. Hostels are cheap, not always, but most of the time they are. The only difference is they're always cheap. I would say cheaper than a hotel if you choose a dorm. But if you're gonna choose a private room in a hostel, then yeah, it's probably gonna be just as expensive as a hotel. Because I've had a lot of people message me like, it's not cheaper than a hotel. Cause I'm like, well, what'd you book? They're like, a private room. I was like, well, that's why. Private room's gonna be expensive, more expensive. Hostels are for party goers. Hostels are for everyone. There's all kinds of hostels. Some are, you know, more catered to partying and have bars inside the hostels, and some don't. Actually, the one I'm currently at is called Selena, and I'm in Guatemala. I don't think I told anyone that. I'm on Lake Atitlan, Guatemala, and I'm staying in a hostel called Selena. It's a big chain, and they're kind of designed for digital nomads. Actually, I'll turn my camera really quick because there's a whole bunch of people working in the background. I don't know if you can you see? Leah, nod your head if you can see.
You're on blur, your background. That's
oh, I messed up. Okay, maybe later. Let's just move on. I forgot I was on blur. Okay, hostels are basic. Oh my gosh. I've stayed in some really cool hostels. So I include 2 hostels that were very unique. The one at the top, Casa Pepe Hostel in Mexico City, it even had a Stranger Things themed hostel, like little area. So if you look at the top, you can see the letters if you know Stranger Things. And then the one on the bottom, Tree View Hostel in Holbox, Mexico, had an escape room, which was really cool. Yeah. All right, where can I book? I'm going to send all these resources at the end for you. So if you don't feel like trying to write them down, I'm going to send them in a little bit. So Hostel World is the main one that I choose. It is usually my go-to whenever I book a hostel really anywhere. Booking.com is the second one I use the most. Agoda, I used it more in like Southeast Asia, but I think it also works in a lot of places other than Southeast Asia. Also, if you really want to help a hostel out, you could always try and find their direct website and book with them. That way they get the full amount of money. And this is actually a screenshot of my phone. Those are all my travel apps. And you can see on the 3 bottom, it's Hostelworld, Booking.com, and Agoda. I always have it on my phone. So how do you find a hostel that suits your needs? Oh, I went the wrong way. So specify your search by using filters. So look for the amenities that are important to you. So maybe location. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull up Hostelworld and show you how I would do it. Let's say, whoa, that view is, that's in my way. Okay, let's say we'll go to Bangkok. Why not? Sounds fun. And let's make sure we can get as many room options available. 1 guest. And let's see what we got. So if I were searching for a hostel, and this is for me, maybe yours would be different. The first thing I would do is I would filter by the price and the rating. So I don't know why it's in euros, but I do not want to pay almost $3,000 for a room. So we're going to make that a lot lower. 483 euros. Nah, still don't want to pay 483. Still no. No. Okay, let's see what happens with 6 euros. And the rating, I always move it straight to 8, usually, to get a decent hostel. And then, where's the search? I think it's loading, but we can start looking. Or no, I think it went, maybe. So Luke Hostel. So I would also look at the reviews right here. Make sure that there's a lot of reviews. Like they have a really great rating. And if you look here, they have a really great location and also cleanliness. So, but if it was like 10 superb and only 2 reviews, maybe I won't choose it quite yet. For fun, let's change the rating. Let's see what happens. Okay, so if I saw this rating, there's no way I would stay at it. 4.5, 3.7 out of 10, not very good. So I would just say you play around with the filters, whatever you think would suit your needs, because also over here, you can filter by the kind of room you want. So you can do a private room up here, or you can do filter by a dorm room. Maybe you only want to stay in a female only dorm. Facilities, maybe you want to make sure you have really good Wi-Fi. So you want to click that, or you want breakfast included in your price. So there's all kinds of ways to filter it to make sure you get a hostel that works great for you. I pretty much touched on everything I just said in here, but they have an overall rating of the location, cleanliness, security, and atmosphere. Oftentimes I look at atmosphere to make sure it's very social. You can see an example over here on the right, here hostel. They have location, cleanliness, staff, facilities, atmosphere, where they give the individual ratings. Another big good thing that I like to check for, which is why I put another screenshot here in a phone, is the location. Location is a big thing, like, because otherwise, if you pick a bad, maybe it's a nice hostel and nice hostel, but it's in a bad location and it's really hard to get transport to wherever you want to go. So location's a big one for me as well. All right, how to pick a great hostel. Cheaper isn't always better. I try not to be too cheap. Sometimes I can be too cheap. And I think I've learned my lesson that if I try to maybe choose a cheaper one over the other, it's not always good, or it's not always better. But also vice versa, expensive isn't always better. I may pay more for a nicer hostel, but like I don't really meet as anyone, or it's not as social. Breakfast included. Don't always fall for the breakfast included part. Yeah, it's nice when it says that, but a lot of times in hostels, it means like toast, eggs, something very, very basic, and it's not that great. You might as well pay for one without the breakfast if it's cheaper, and go to a cool cafe or restaurant somewhere, wherever you're at. Get a late checkout. I've actually stayed in hostels where the checkout was 9 a.m. Don't do what I did. Check the checkout. Okay, make sure it's 10 or 11. Maybe not even 10, like 11 or 12. A good one does 12 p.m. Showers, maybe check the reviews. Oh, I didn't mention that in the last one. A good place to always check to make sure a hostel is great is check the reviews. Get, real life opinions from people who actually stayed there and see what they say. You can get a lot of answers. Is the Wi-Fi really good? Is the breakfast really good? Is the facilities really nice? You'll get more real answers in the reviews. I don't particularly care too much about the showers. I'm fine with cold or hot usually. I tend to be in hot destinations, so I like a cold shower anyway, but maybe one of you might care. Cleanliness of the hostel. Again, you can check the cleanliness rating on Hostel World, or you can look at the reviews for some answers on that. Check to make sure they have lockers. Normally they do, especially nowadays, because you want a space to lock up like your passport, or if you have a laptop or a nice camera. A place for free internet, a bar. Maybe you want one that has like a bar in it where it's really social and they have happy hour. Sometimes like the hostel I'm at now actually has a pool outside. So maybe that might be something you want to have. A common area, which most of them do. Organized activities. I've stayed in a hostel where they didn't have it actually recently in Mexico, and I was a little disappointed because they had phenomenal ratings and reviews, but no activities. And I was like, I like activities. So knowledgeable staff, location. It's so important because it's nice to just walk out of your hostel and be kind of right in the center of everything where you don't have to use too much transport. And you might also want to consider a hostel. Are you a remote worker? So you might want to look in hostels that are more digital nomad, like Selena, like the one I'm in. I'm using their private room right now and using their Wi-Fi. They always have really great Wi-Fi because they really cater to the digital nomad community. Those people who travel full-time but also work full-time. All right, security and safety. Like I said, I've never had an issue with feeling unsafe or having something stolen. Actually, I had my wallet stolen one time, but that was because I went to a bar on top of a hostel and it was super packed, and I think I forgot to close my purse, so I think someone pickpocketed it. But that was me just not being very responsible. But overall, I've never had issues. So, but some ways you can check to make sure you feel comfortable to stay there. You can check that security and safety rating on Hostel World or on booking.com. Just make sure you're responsible for your own belongings. Like, don't leave things out on your bed or don't leave things lying around. Make sure you're locking it up. You can try and stay in smaller dorms with only 4 beds, maybe less people, makes you feel more safe. You can stay with friends. I've met people along the way while traveling, and we ended up booking out a room together, like in Tribute Hostel in Holbox. We got a 4-bed dorm, and we ended up sharing the room because we all liked each other and we're friends. You can stay in a female-only dorm. I should add a male. I saw an option in Bangkok, Thailand, that there's only male dorms. So if that makes you feel more comfortable, you can do that. Check for that the baggage storage. So when you check out some days, sorry, excuse me. Maybe you want to go out on town or eat lunch or have dinner. Maybe your bus is not till the evening, or maybe your flight's not till the evening. It might be good to check that they have some kind of safe baggage storage for your baggage, because you don't want to carry that around town. Buy travel insurance. I use Safety Wing. I've used World Nomads. Those are both great travel insurance companies, just in case something happens. If you don't feel comfortable moving to or being in a dorm room, then you could always move to a private. Before your stay, what to pack? Okay, you have to have shower shoes. You have to have shower shoes, especially if you're not staying in a private room where you have your own bathroom. Because like if you've been to college and you lived in a dorm, then you know you had to wear your shower shoes to the shower, or it's kind of gross. Like, don't be that person that's barefoot in the shower. Ugh, no, don't do that. So actually, I'm going to include a resource at the end that includes the shower shoes, earplugs, and lock, the ones that I use, as well as the ones below. So earplugs, because unfortunately, yes, there could be snoring if you're sharing with a room with other people. So if you're a light sleeper, come prepared and bring earplugs. Lock, because hostels Sometimes they'll rent one to you or they'll give you one that you can buy from them, but just bring your own. It's easier just to have a couple locks and just bring them with you. Additional items that I bring to make it better for my experience, I always have my noise canceling headphones. I wear those to bed. They're actually comfortable enough to sleep in. A silk pillowcase, it just makes me feel a little, I don't know, just a little, I'm not sure the word, but it's nice to have a silk pillowcase to sleep on. Maybe less wrinkles since I'm getting older. A shower caddy, so you can easily take your shower caddy to the bathroom and shower. A microfiber towel because they dry really fast. They're nice to have. And also just like locks, they often will make you rent one or pay a deposit on it. So you may just want to bring your own. And the last one, bed sheets. I don't bring these, but someone did mention these maybe in like Iceland or something, that it might be a thing. I'm not sure. But also maybe it makes you feel better to know that you're packing your own, but they actually sell bed sheets that are like meant for traveling. Like it's a little bag. I actually have one. I just never bring it. So, right. Hostel etiquette, unspoken rules of hostels. Don't be that person who wakes everyone up at 5:30, 6 a.m. packing your bag because your flight is at 8 a.m. They're not going to like you. I will not like you for doing that to me. So just be considerate. Try to pack up your things the night before and leave as quietly as possible. Use your torch on your phone if it's late at night. Instead of turning on like the light to the whole room because there's probably people sleeping. It's totally okay to set an alarm, but don't be the person that keeps pressing snooze, okay? If it goes off once, it's totally fine for once. Twice, you should get up after that. Try to be quiet between like 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. when people are still sleeping. Return your sheets or towels to reception. Not all hostels ask of this, but some do. It just helps them. That's how they kind of keep things at lower prices too. It's just one way. Wash your dishes. I rarely stayed in hostels where they'll actually wash the dishes for you. Most often they ask you to do it yourself. So if you decide you want to cook, that's loud, isn't it? Truck. If you decide you want to cook or use the silverware or dishes or whatever, make sure you clean it up yourself. Overall, just be mindful you're sharing a space with people. So just be a good human and you'll be fine. Actually, Leah, that's you up there in that right-hand corner photo. So when we stayed in
that's me brushing my teeth, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Good hygiene. It's good to have good hygiene as well. I should have added that. But yes, that was Same Sun Hostel in San Diego, California. It was a 4-bedroom. And me, Leah, and a couple other girls rented out this room and stayed in San Diego for a couple days. And then the one on the bottom is also Same Sun Hostel. It's a picture of the kitchen, and all those boxes are where the staff, but also guests, if you didn't know this, you can go grocery shopping, and a lot of times they'll try to like give you some space to keep your groceries and things that you buy. So if you want to make breakfast in the morning, and you have a space to grab it from. Also, the sign above that sink says wash your own dishes. You can't see it very well, but it does. It says wash your own dishes. All right, so let's look at some examples of some hostels. This is Same Sun Hostel. This is one I stayed in back in October with Leah. It was a really great location. It had so much like graffiti and color to it. It's very vibrant. I really, really, really liked it. So if you're ever in San Diego, I highly recommend Same Sun Hostel. So here's some pictures from the hostel. In the back, if you walk into the back, which also this hostel has key card access. No, not key card. It's like a pin on the door, right? Yeah, pin. which is nice. And I think 24-hour security as well. In the back, you have these little common areas that you can see here, which is really nice because it's like open air and you can get some sun if you want. They have a little bar. They had hammocks that you can see that I was laying on. Almost every morning I'd come out and just lay on the hammock. And then they had a great people watching spot out on the front porch. You can see on the left hand side, or the photo on the left hand side. And it was the perfect location because if you walk out, you have all the restaurants. Just a couple of minutes down the street was the beach. They have I think it's like the Wednesday something market or Thursday something market, which is literally as soon as you step out, it's just a really great location. They also had a really nice kitchen in case you wanted to cook as well. So here's some pricing of that one. Now, these prices are, because you're in the US, are gonna look a little more, but like if you are in Mexico or Guatemala, even where I'm at, those prices are at least in half for those dorms usually. So for the 6-bed, $36, 8-bed, about $36, somewhere between $36 and $40 for a mixed dorm. And then of course, if you want to get a private, you're going to pay for a private. It's a lot more, $200, $175. This is at the same Sun Hostel. Tribute Hostel. This is the one in Holbox, Mexico, that had the, oh my gosh, what's it called? The escape room, sorry, the escape room. This one was very like jungly. It was really beautiful, like a lot of greenery and flowers. And then actually, the picture that I'm in, there's a little exit behind me that you can't really see, but if you walk out there, it's like a 2-minute walk to the beach too. So it was a great location. It was close to restaurants, so I highly recommend this hostel too. They had lots of hammocks. They had a bar inside the hostel, but it was separate enough that it didn't really bother us, I think, in the rooms. And also, I think they shut everything down by 11 p.m. anyway to make sure people can sleep. Also, in that right-hand picture where the pink part of that building is, on the very top, you can kind of see a roof. They did yoga there every afternoon, and they also did yoga in the morning in a different location in the hostel. The hostel's pretty big. So here's a few more photos. So you have the kitchen, which you had full use of. The top photo, that was one of the bunk dorm rooms I stayed in. I want to say it was like a 12-bed or a 16-bed. And then on the bottom, that was a photo of us after, I think, trivia night and like a happy hour. So they have a bar, like I said, in the hostel, and that was in the bar. And then I used that photo twice, didn't I? Oh, it's about the same. It's kind of the same. But that's where you entered the hostel dorm, was right there. Prices. Their prices have definitely gone up. I think they know that because they're the best hostel in Holbox right now, I think, in my opinion. So the 10-bed mixed dorm is $27. I'm pretty sure when I stayed there, it was only $15. I'm about 95% sure. So also it could be it's high season right now, so the prices are really inflated. They have a 10-bed female dorm, a 10-bed mixed, all between $31 and $27. And of course they have privates. I actually stayed in one of their privates because I got really sick and I found out I thought it was COVID. So I got a private room. I think I paid for the second one, the $74 one, and they gave me a discount. So I think I ended up paying $50. So here is another hostel in Denver, Colorado. I'm actually going to be volunteering here very soon. I'm very excited. It's actually like an old mansion, and it has like this cool like history and story behind it. And there's so many little knickknacks inside this mansion hostel. It's just so cool. Even if you don't want to stay there, I feel like you should walk in and just check it out. It's just very cool. It's like flashback in time. So you can see like the fireplace, everything's very old school, and like the little things on the top of the mantle of the fireplace. They also had a nice outdoor area, which I can't believe I didn't have this, but they had a hot tub there. It was really nice, but I didn't take a picture. I don't know what I was thinking. But they also had a nice area for a fire pit in the back. So even if it's really cold, you can go out in the back. Here's just a few more pictures. The room I stayed in, I want to say it was a 6-bed. Yeah, 6-bed. I ended up having only me and one other girl stayed in it when I stayed there. Just very swanky vibes. It was very neat. Here's some of the prices. I wish I would have gotten more hostels like in Mexico, because I promise they're not even normally this expensive, especially when I've been staying in Guatemala and Mexico. I'd say they're anywhere from $8 or $9 a night for a dorm to maybe $18 is what I paid so far in Guatemala or Mexico. But this one's a little more expensive because it's downtown Denver and it's in the US. So it is $60 to about $77. Or sorry, no, the cheapest was the second one. $52 to about $70-something. And then the private, of course, is always going to be more expensive. Okay, so I have some resources to share with you. If you plan to go to Europe anytime soon, there's this really cool thing called Hostel Pass. And what it is it's a hostel card, and it will give you discounts, I think between 20 and 25% off some of the hostels that are within this hostel card access. It's about 25, I'm not sure what that is in US dollars, but it's probably close to that. 25 US dollars a year, but it can give you all kinds of perks at these hostels. And they're also giving you a special code. So if you use Nomad20, you get 20% off that. So very cheap, considering all the perks you would get at the hostels for this. They also do on private rooms. So keep that in mind. I will also send the link at the end of this presentation for you. Selena, like the one I'm staying at. So you may want to consider staying at Selena's. They're very popular in South America, Central America, and starting to pop up more in the US. They just opened up a brand new one in Chicago and I believe Washington, DC. But they really cater to remote workers. They make sure they have really great Wi-Fi and facilities, like areas to work. So they also offer a program called like co-live, which is, you can do a co-live or co-live flex based on what would work best for you. So both are like a month long, it's for a month, so 30 nights, but co-live flex offers more than 3 destinations that you could move around within the Selena's in an area. So for example, in Mexico, they have a Selena in Tulum. They have one in Puerto Escondido. So you could use your 30 nights, maybe 5 nights in the Tulum Selena, or maybe 5 nights in the Puerto Escondido one. You can move around. Hi hostels. I mentioned this before. This brand of hostels is better for families or older people, or like students, like groups of students. And they also offer a membership as well. Okay. Whew. I can't remember the last time I talked so much. Actually, I'll leave that up there.
You're awesome, Katie. Yeah, please go ahead and leave your contact information up just for a second.
Okay.
Or here, I'm dropping Katie's contact information in the chat. Also, if you are not following her on Instagram, hopefully you do have social media. She's one of my favorite people to follow on Instagram. She's very real. She gives you the full story. I always love seeing where she is. And also, so here's in the chat, connect with Katie. She has a downloadable freebie, 25 of her best budget travel tips. So you can go ahead and hit that link. I will post this again in a few minutes, but you have a lot of amazing questions. So leave this up for another minute or two. And then we'll go ahead and start answering questions. You guys can all take a second to go follow her on the gram or your preferred social media platform of choice. Okay, so let's start with Sarah. She wants to know, how do you choose a room size? Like, are smaller rooms, 4 beds usually better than larger rooms, or does it vary? Like, what's your thought process when you go through that?
Not necessarily. Sometimes, depending on how I feel, I might pick the 4 bed with less beds because I think it might just be more quiet because I'm looking for more sleep. Some days I'll be like, ooh, I spent a lot of money eating out last week here in Guatemala. Maybe I'll choose the 12 bed and pay like $8 less a night or something. Mm-hmm. It really just depends how I feel. It really varies.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm the same. Like, sometimes I want to stay in a female dorm. Sometimes I want to meet people.
Right.
And I think, Katie, you can agree with me. Like, I feel like some of my friendships have started in the dorm room that you're staying in versus the common space area. Like, you'll become close with your roommates.
That's true. Yeah. Because I always, when you see someone new come into the room, or I come into the room, you're like, hey, how are you? Where are you from? And usually a lot of conversations usually start off like that. And then you're like, hey, are you hungry? Let's go to dinner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very easy to meet people.
Love it. Okay, so Sunny Harris wants to know, you're young, but can you talk about hostel availability for seniors? Like, how would one search that? How would one look for those types of hostels?
Okay, so I don't think I mentioned that, did I? I want to. Oh, sorry. So I don't know why I can't get my screen to go down. Oh my gosh, that was too hard. So in Hostel World, they have, honestly, I don't know if you can do this on the website, like a desktop, but I think you can do it in the app for sure. But there is a way to filter by age, like reviews by age. And because I think they do, like, don't quote me on this, maybe 18 to 25, 25 to 30, or 30 to 35, or 45 to 50. So you can look at the reviews based on the age groups and filter, maybe you want 45 to 55 or something. And look at all the reviews that people have left who are aged 45 to 55. And you can see, oh, maybe they might be saying, oh, this is a great hostel. I met a lot of people, older people, closer to my age. But that's one way you could try to find maybe a hostel that you think would be more of your age group. But also high hostels are very good for that. So depending on where you're at, if you can find a high hostel, they're usually pretty good about, people of all age or older people. So.
Yep. 100%. Lots of filters you can apply. Mm-hmm. Right. Thank you for that. So Farha, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I apologize if not, wants to know, does the shared kitchen lead to very long wait times? Any tips for working around that?
Ooh, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Maybe earlier the better, or maybe you can prep cook somehow, maybe on Sundays or something. Try to get to the kitchen maybe earlier than maybe most people eat dinner like 6. So maybe if I knew I really wanted to cook something, I might try to go at like 4:30. But you could also try to prep maybe for a couple days and buy some cheap plastic containers. So that way you only have to warm it up, maybe in a microwave instead of cooking it. That's what I would do if I was trying to make sure I cooked more or had the kitchen available to me.
Yep, Absolutely. There's some also, everyone, there's some great tips in the chat. So you could also reference the chat. Also, if you're on desktop, there's 3 dots in the bottom right-hand corner where you can go down and save the chat to your computer as well. It's a lot of helpful information in there. So very good. Very cool, Katie. Okay. Tatiana wants to know tips to keeping up with workouts when staying in hostels. Carry your luggage up 6 flights of stairs, right?
Exactly. Carry your big backpack everywhere around with you. Honestly, I feel like I'm more fit when I'm traveling than I am at home. I feel like I'm way more lazy.
100%. Yeah.
Plus you like walk around a lot and like around town or do more activities. I will say this, because I've been struggling with this too, staying healthy and trying to work out. It's easier when I try to stay somewhere for a longer period of time, like at least a week or a month, and find a gym near you and try to just get a weekly pass. I got a gym membership in San Pedro, where I'm staying at right now with my homestay. And the gym is like a 2-minute walk from me. And I paid, you can pay it's 100 quetzales a week, which I think is about $6. I don't remember, US dollars. And I just had access to the gym all week. So I'll try to find a gym where I go, or I have this app called Fitness AI, and it's really nice because as long as you have data, you can do the workout anywhere, and it will design a workout based on the resources you have. So I'll put, maybe I'm not in a gym, maybe I'm just in this room with nothing. So I'll say I have like no equipment, like nothing, and it'll design a workout like upper body or lower body for me. Or I'll go to the gym and say, okay, I have only free weights, and it'll design a workout for me with just free weights. So it's a really nice app. It's called
Very
Fitness
cool.
AI.
Fitness AI. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we only have about a few minutes to ask Katie some questions. If we don't get to your question, please reach out to her on Instagram. She's super, super responsive, or reach out to her on any other platform. So I'm going to try to go with some of the bigger ones. Maddie wants to know, for digital nomads, do you find staying in a hostel super distracting? Like if you're trying to work, but also travel and also have fun, etc.
Sometimes. I think it takes some, what's the word I'm looking for? Dedication, some
Discipline.
discipline. That's what I'm looking for. It definitely takes some discipline, because it just is. It just takes some discipline. And I think if you can get into a routine, you get used to it, then it's okay. But I do struggle with that sometimes. But
yeah,
work on that discipline.
Of course. Okay, so I'm going to combine a few questions. People like Lydia and Francisco want to know, how long in advance does one need to book? And what if you find any other sites besides Hostel World better or helpful? Like what other hostel platforms can you search on?
So I mainly use Hostel World. I always start there, but I will look at booking.com as well, and Agoda. But I think in Central America, where I've been at mostly right now, I just stick to booking.com or Hostel World. I prefer Hostel World just because I think most hostels will be, the most hostels I feel like I'd want to stay at, or maybe a lot of popular ones, most hostels use Hostel World. So that's why I like to start there. Plus, I like how you can filter based on what you need. I like the options of like the different kinds of rooms, the rating. I just think it's very user friendly. It's kind of cool. The app keeps track of all the hostels you stay at, which is how I know how many hostels I book through, is because the Hostel World app tracks it for you. Also tracks like how many countries you've been to. It's a nice little app.
Yep. 100%. Thank you. I was saying in the chat earlier, I cross-reference Google Maps, my favorite thing on the entire planet. So I cross-reference Google Maps reviews, booking reviews, Hostel World reviews, and then lastly, and it's not my favorite platform, but TripAdvisor as well. So cross-referencing is always great.
Oh, also, I want to mention this, that a lot of times I'll get ideas of where to stay in hostels based on what people tell me when I'm traveling. I don't always like go straight to the Hostel World app or booking.com to find one.
Yeah.
If I meet some people I'm vibing with, then they're like, hey, you should try this hostel out in, I don't know, San Cristobal. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. So
yeah.
I'm going to stop sharing if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'd love to see your beautiful face. I think word of mouth is always good too. Sometimes the reviews can kind of taint your perception or, you know, what you think going in. Okay, yeah. So let's do, I think anyone drop any last minute questions? I want to group another one together. So another Katie plus Fiona and Katie again, they want to know about locks, what size locks you bring, mirrors in the hostel, safety in the hostel, like how secure private rooms are. Can you leave your computer in the room? Your advice for leaving valuables out in a shared dorm, etc.
So I would, okay, as far as locks, make sure, get like the Master Lock brand.
Wait, I'm not gonna lie, I have examples literally.
Perfect. You make a good point, because you don't want one that's too big, because the lock won't always fit in the hole of the locker. So you want to make sure it's like a smaller one, like, you know, when you're in middle school and stuff and you have that kind of lock. Yeah, you want one like that. Tiny. I also keep one that's slightly bigger, and I make sure it's the number combination, not a key, because I'm going to lose the key. So try to use like a number combo one. As far as safety, security, or if you have a private room and it locks behind you, I think it's fine. I actually stayed in a hostel here across the lake called Free Cerveza. Although my private did not lock, I left my laptop and my drone in the room and it was fine. I wasn't really worried about it. I mean, I'll like try to hide it. Like I'll hide it under the bed or something where it's not just in display for everyone to see in my room on my bed. But if I'm in a dorm, if I'm leaving the room and going out for the day, I always lock up my stuff, my passport, my laptop, my drone. If I'm like in the room and I'm going to go take a shower really quick, I might slide my laptop under the pillow and it's probably fine. I haven't had an issue. So
100%. Great thought. I'm a little paranoid sometimes, and sometimes I'll bring my wallet into the bathroom while I'm showering. I've not brought my laptop into the bathroom while I'm showering. I do have a nice case for it, but yeah, I have locks right here, literally keep them in my desk. That's why I wanted to bring them out and show you. This is a bigger one, probably about 2 inches, a little thicker. This is a tiny one, probably about like 1.5 inches. And they're both number combo, not key. So Katie dropped in book hostels here, hostel resources. Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much.
I added the links for Selena, High Hostel I mentioned, and the Hostel Pass in Europe. I also included the top 3 links of where I always book my hostels. And I'm about to drop my links to my social media if you want to connect. But also I have 2 freebies in there in case you missed it. And one of the freebies, the gift guide, has a link to the lock I use, the exact lock I use, and the exact headphones I use, the exact pillowcase I use. So if you're interested in that, you can look there. I just dropped it in the chat. It's the very last one.
Yes, there you go. So, Katie, thank you so much. I'm so sorry we weren't able to get to everyone's questions today. I know you had some burning questions. Katie is super responsive on all of her social media platforms. So, go ahead and send her a DM there. I'm literally going to save down the chat right now, right this instance. You can DM myself, my Katie. Yeah. DM either of us, email either of us to get the chat. I'm going to save it right now for anyone who wants it. There's a lot of great resources in there.
And for real, I'm always in my DMs asking questions about travel. So if you want to send me a message, you're welcome to do that. If I don't respond right away, it's because I don't have service. I'm about to take a boat back across the lake, back to where I'm staying. And then I have my Spanish classes for 3 hours. So it might not be till this evening or tomorrow that I respond. Just FYI.
Yes. No worries. Katie, thank you so much. I'm going to close out a little bit. If you need to jump off, I totally understand, but I wanted to tell everyone about some upcoming events. So Katie, this has been so helpful. And for those that have not ever stayed in a hostel, I hope this was beneficial to you. And